every time they vote, the race is so close they have to go back and count the votes all over again. And which means that any block, any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You can keep Johnson in Washington, D.C., or you can send him back to his Texas cotton patch. You're the one who sent Kennedy to Washington. You're the one who put the present Democratic administration in Washington, D.C. The whites were evenly divided. It was the fact that you threw 80% of your votes behind the Democrats that put the Democrats in the White House. When you see this, you can see that the Negro vote is the key factor. And despite the fact that you are in a position to be the determining factor, what do you get out of it? The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they've brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first and they put you last. Because you're a chump. A political chump. In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republicans. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you backed controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you, because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race. For beer during commercials, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner, because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run, or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures.
What it do, what it do? It is Thursday night. This is the No PC show. Thought we weren't gonna make it because AT&T had jacked me up again. I just got internet access maybe 40 minutes ago. So I really hadn't planned the show. I had planned the show, but I didn't think I was going to have any service, so I didn't plan the show. The show I'm going to do tonight is not the show that I was originally going to do. We'll do that next week. We'll just do that on Tuesday and double up next week. But tonight's show is going to be, I believe, interesting. I threw it together at the last minute, but for all you great people that have not seen Get Out, you might want to go do something else right now, because it's been out a couple of weeks. Everybody's, watching it, into it. It's I don't know how many of you are familiar with Key and Peele, the comedy group on Comedy Central. That's who they brought in after Dave Chappelle left. And funny guys, they did the movie Can You, funny, it's type of off-brand humor that mostly everybody can get into. What makes both these guys interesting is they're both from interracial relationships. As far as their mothers were white, their fathers were black. I think the other one, Key, I'm not sure. I think he had two mothers, so I'm not sure if he was adopted or what there. But one's black and one's white. So, but he's the one that does the impersonations of Obama, the angry translator, which is a great skit. But Jordan came out with this movie, and I guess we have to give him kudos, because I don't guess we have to give him kudos. We should give him kudos, because he is the first black actor or producer or director, however you want to call it, that made $100 million on his debut film. They only put $10 million into this film, and they made $100 million. The interesting thing about this film is the angles that he comes from. Growing up in both the black and the white world has given him an insight it's transparent, but it's subliminal at the same time. He's able to bring all these different characteristics where white people are watching the movie and they're seeing themselves from one side, and black people are looking at this movie and they're seeing themselves from one side, but they're also seeing the white people. And a lot of people have been having all different types of discussions of what did this mean, what did this mean, what did this mean, and that makes it a great movie if everybody's talking about the different aspects of the movie. It came across to me as like a cross between Night of the Living Dead, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Stepford Wives. Definitely race was a big factor in what was going on throughout this movie. And if you haven't seen it, sorry, please, again, change the channel. I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert. I'm just going to say, hey, go see it. Don't watch this. Get up and go see it now. There were so many different angles, and I didn't have time to put my secondary screen up where I can just look forward and do my show the way I normally do it with my script in front of me. So I'll be looking down. I apologize for that. I'm just going to hit on a few things and go down my list as quick as possible. The white woman, young white girl, takes her black boyfriend to meet her family. It looks like she's got a rich family. They're rich or well off. I mean, they've got acres. They've got black servants. And she didn't tell them that this black man was coming to the house. Now, I'll go from some personal experiences of when I was younger and went out with a few white girls. It was always that come to my house and meet my parents, and you're like, are you crazy? I'm not coming to meet your parents. A lot of them would get offended. Oh, I really like, okay, well, you can like me and stuff like that, but my thing was always that regardless of who I dated, I was just going to be with a black woman in the end. I got friends and they're married to white women and love them, and I'm sure it's all great. That's just wasn't for me. And that's one of the angles in the movie of how do we look at black and white relationships. And it's strange, and I'm just gonna be open with it. It's strange. Well, not as strange. You see I see a black man with a white woman. You know, I don't think of it too much one way or another. But for some reason, when I see a black woman with a white man, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why. He could be treating her like the princess of the Nile or whatever. It's just something in me that says, I don't like it. I guess I'm a double racist or something, whatever it is. I don't know. It's and maybe if it's not that type of relationship, but you never know. I mean, we're all supposed to be able to be open and be and love who we love, and we love who we're in proximity to. So a lot of women were calling into this radio show I was listening to the other day, and they were very upset with it because there was like, and a lot of them came out with this angle that I hadn't even thought about, of how evil some of these white women are. Like they come off demure and everything, and loving, and this may suck a brother in. Like, hey, this is great. You know, she's not arguing with me. It's like a new world. I'm experiencing new and different things. But of course, in this movie, she turns out to be a little evil white girl who has worked the angle of the little sweet Polly purebred white girl to entrap the black man and suck them in. This often happens in society. Is it wrong? That was one of the angles. A lot of black women are like, see, black men don't see white women like we see white women, and we see white women as this competition, and we see the evil crap that they do, and we can't forget that it was those same evil white women that just voted for Donald Trump. And I was like, wow. Because I know a few of them. And you know they voted for Trump because they're trying to hide it. They're like, oh, well, you know, this plan, he's going to do this, and he's going to... And then you talk to them, and you talk to them a little more. And then they say, yeah, I didn't look at it that way. So you voted for the coochie grabber, and it's all good. But we won't mess with Trump tonight. There were also things, the mother in the movie. She's the same woman from I believe she's the same woman from the 40-year-old virgin. And she plays the concerned, well-educated doctor. I guess she's a doctor of some sort. And she wants to help the main character, Chris. She's not as welcoming as the father in the movie. And, you know, he's kind of condescending. When white folks talk that jive talk, it's offensive. In case any white people see this, it's kind of offensive. We don't like you shucking and jiving, and no, stop it. It's not cool. So the mother she's got a little dark cloud over her. But Chris, the main black character, he's like, okay, he's trying to be open to the experience of meeting the parents. So they go to this other town. I can't remember what the town is, and they hit a deer, and so they pull over to the road. A cop comes, and you know he's checking her information, everything, make sure that everybody's okay. Then he asks Chris for his license. A lot of times white people don't understand situations the way we deal with cops and the way they deal with cops. Prime example, back in the day, a white girl that I worked with was dropping me and my friend Kenny off. Kenny's a white guy, she's a white lady, and I'm black. And we're up by Wrigley Field, Addison, in Chicago. And we've dropped Kenny off. Now she's going to drop me off at the train station. And we get pulled over by the cops. Now, already when we get pulled over by the cops, we're like, oh, here we go. Because this is how we live on a daily basis. I think they're kind of oblivious to it. And they started making up some stories to make us get out the car. They take my backpack. They dump all my books and stuff on the ground. They kick through it. Then they started saying we smell marijuana in the car. Now, we weren't smoking any marijuana. This was her husband's car. So she goes off. She gets belligerent, acting a fool. I'm just saying, please, Betty, please. I'm trying to make it home because, they looking for a reason. And she behaved so crazy that they did take her into the station. So the same thing with this white woman in the movie. She became protective of the black man, going in on the cop about, hey, why are you asking him for his license? What is this? He's like, look, here's my license, because we're taught, hey, conform and go along with the officer because we're just trying to get home here. I don't know how many people caught that part in the movie. Needless to say, they get out of that situation, they go on. He gets to the house. He's kind of talking back and forth with his buddy. Now, we all got that one buddy, and maybe I'm that buddy that is the conspiracy theorist that, he's like, are you going out here with all these white people and they could have some slavery stuff going on or some craziness going on? Don't let this woman get in your mind. So that friend, and that's probably who I am to a lot of people, is it that black people are just naturally untrusting of people, or just untrusting of each other and untrusting the white people? Could be. I mean, it's these situations. Like I'm gonna share a lot of my stories tonight. When I was younger, I think this was 87, 88. Me and my wife went up to a town called Appleton, Wisconsin. I think it's about 40 miles from Green Bay. Now, this is the 80s. And we go to this town. There's a guy trying to recruit black people to move into this town. I'm like, okay, where are the black people at? He's like, this is us. It's us three. Okay, wait a minute, brother. If y'all move here, then there'll be three of us. So you are in this town by yourself. And in my mind, I don't want to be no place where it's just three black people in a town full of white people. Do I think the white people going to ride and do this and do this and do this? No, I just don't trust them on that level. I'm sorry. These are the things that shaped my life. And we stayed with a white family. They gave us their bed. We went to these different events around the town. And, hey, I'm Billy and I'm this. And everybody in the town goes bowling on Wednesday nights. And everybody does this on so-and-so. And we're growing this industry. And this is going to be great. This is a great opportunity for you. And I'm looking at my wife like, you know damn well I'm not staying up here with these white folks. You know damn well I'm not. I don't give a damn how great the opportunity is. It's that black folks cutting off their nose despite an opportunity. Is it really an opportunity? Kind of hard to say, but needless to say, we did not stay. I'm actually going to start recording. I forgot to press the record button here, but I should be able to get it off the live feed anyway. So, needless to say, we didn't stay. I just felt uncomfortable, and just like this guy in the movie, when he gets to the home of the parents, first thing he's doing, he's looking around for other black folks, because all he sees is white faces. He sees a couple of black folks, and just like it is, when we see a couple of black folks, we're like, okay, yeah, I see a couple of black folks, but these black folks ain't acting like the regular black folks. He's like, okay, they kind of standoffish, but they do work here. Maybe they just on some bull because they got to keep their jobs. Then they have this party where all these white folks are coming. And I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where you're the black person. You're the token black or whatever it is at this event. And all the white people are coming up. Hey, Chris. Hey, it's nice to meet you. Oh, you're looking pretty strong. Wow. You do this, and this is and that's how it is in real life. When I was away at college, I lived in the Wilkins dorms in Illinois State, and this was 1983. And somehow there were 49 white guys and me, the one black guy. How it happened, I have no idea. So I got to be with the white folks. I got to be with the black folks. And it was fine for a while until that day you walk down the hall and you hear that secret conversation. It's that those niggers conversation. And that's basically what I heard, the nigger conversation. And then I couldn't deal with these white folks no more. And there's always something. And a lot of people say, well, that's maybe that's just a group of ignorant ones. Maybe. But that tends to be the way they operate. I don't sit around and say hunky and cracker all day. I say white folks. But these particular white folks were saying those niggers in Waterson. See, Waterson was this big 28-story, I call it a project on the campus where they kind of pushed all the black folks over into this tower. I refused to go in that tower. I said, I just left the projects. You're not about to put me in another project. And you can't tell me how nice it is. But that's how they did this back in those times unless you spoke up. So moving on and to the movie, the father, like I said, he was coming up with the little hip things, and of course he's gonna question, how long this been going on, basically subliminally saying, how long you been knocking my door off, nigga? But you try to say it in a little jive way, and they're like, well, blah blah, and she's like, oh, daddy, and and the mother sees he smokes, and she's like, I can help you with that smoking. My husband used to smoke, and I hypnotized him, and he hasn't smoked. The setup, boom. Most of us never see the setup. You don't see it coming. It was that simple for her to try to introduce something that's going to help you. I know what's best for you, and I just met you yesterday. I know what's best for you in your career if you just listen to me. Why are you so resistant against what I'm trying to do for you? That type of stuff. And so he has no intention on going through with this, because he's like most of us, like, man, you was not hypnotizing me. Go on with that. So he's out, and he sees the people out cutting wood and all this type of stuff. So he's gonna step out and have him a smoke. And the first thing he notices that he's out there trying to have a smoke, and he sees the guy that was out chopping wood earlier, and he's like running toward him like at 90 miles an hour. Why he ain't stepped to the side and nothing is beyond me, but the guy comes and he just cuts off. So he looking like, damn, okay, this nigga crazy. So he take a few pulls and he goes into the house, and the mother is like, come here, let me talk to you. See, she's the non-threatening one. And so we don't have to depend on the white man to be the evil one in society anymore. We can use the subtle white woman to do our work. 53% voted for Donald Trump. And if you never dealt with one of these women, they come off with this whole matter of factly type of air. And I don't know if maybe it's the feminist, like you're going to try to control or override me because you're a man and a black man at that, trying to talk up to a white woman. But sometimes they can be very condescending, and it'll make you say, oh, I don't even want to talk to you. But he goes in reluctantly and he sits in the chair and she hypnotizes him and puts him in that sunken place. The sunken place is where I have control in your life, where you feel like you can't escape from my influence over you. At least that's what I took from it. Somebody else may have a different look on it. I'm just saying the way I looked at it as I watched the movie. He doesn't realize that he's even been hypnotized, because next thing you know, he's waking up and he's in the bed with his girl. He doesn't realize that, okay, something's going on here. So he talks to his friend. He tells his friend, oh man, she hypnotized me. I haven't wanted to smoke. And his friend like, oh shit, you got to get out of there. And then he says, something strange is going on here. I ran into so-and-so from blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, wait a minute. Didn't he used to date old girl's sister, blah, blah, blah? Yes, he said, but something strange. This is a young black dude. What is he doing here with this 50-some-year-old white woman? He didn't tell him about the incident he had where he took a picture because he wanted his friend to see who it was. And the guy kind of, I guess, picture taking kind of snaps him out of the trance for a second. And the guy is out of the trance long enough to try to give Chris a warning. He charges him and he says, get out, get out. So you done had one nigga running towards you in the dark woods. Now you done had another nigga telling you, get the fuck out of here. And you still ain't left. Strike two. So now they move on to a dinner thing, and you're introduced to the psychopathic brother who is just behaving all crazy and just, you know, like he hopped up on meth and cocaine and just making a lot of crazy gestures. So sometimes you may be with a group of white people and then everybody seems to be cool, but it's always that one that you sitting there like, I'm gonna have to fuck Jeff up. I'm going to have to do it. I don't want to, but it may come down to that. So that's how he kind of felt, because Jeff kept sizing him up. He tried to fight the feeling of being paranoid. And like I say, and you have to be in some of these situations to understand the paranoia, you know. And we can't all be paranoid every day that we wake up being black, and every time we go in the world. Is it paranoia that something may happen to us? Is it paranoia of the police? Is it paranoia of the people that we have to deal with, the white folks that we deal with on a daily basis? I don't think it is, because we're not paranoid with black folks. We're probably not even paranoid with other minorities. It's just with white folks. It's kind of an untrusting thing. It's like the Indians. Indians don't trust white folks. You can't blame them. But this social thriller, as Jordan Peele was calling it, he was like, he wanted to create a social thriller, basically creating something that black people could understand and white people could get understanding of where black people are at and where white people are at, and they could kind of open their eyes to the haze that's over their eyes in so many situations. Excuse my notes here. In this movie, just like in society, you know, a lot of people think white folks are scared of black folks. I think they just don't really see us as a threat on that level. There's something that goes on in society, and I tell everybody all the time. Being white means you have the luxury not to even think about race. Being black means you better be thinking about race, because it's an element that all the white people that are not thinking about race use on the subliminal level. There was a part in this movie about how they loved all the attributes of Chris, and it kind of put me in the mindset of how white people love rap music, and they like our culture, and they like to take those pieces of culture. Or you have white kids that want to be at the rap concerts and emulate black culture, or what they think is black culture. A lot of that shit's not even black culture. That's just ignorance. But this is what they see, because they know I'm gonna get of age and then I'll be done with this shit, and I can go back and work with daddy or work with mama, and it's gonna be great. They had the movie with Mike Tyson in black and white, based on the same thing. The white girls wanting to come and hang with the black boys because it's exciting and this, and you got the white boys trying to hang out because it's a cultural shock to them. It's different than what they get at home. So in this movie, it turns out that, and this was a part that I thought about, and I was like, now this, you might have went too deep on this. They were kind of doing like a mind-brain transplant type of thing. Turns out that the woodcutter and the maid is actually grandma and grandpa. The black guy is now the husband of the white woman that he was with. So there's some deep on another level crap when you say, are you telling me that white people, in order to live longer or extend themselves, would be willing to become black and live their lives as black people in a controlled environment, of course? Or is that the subliminal saying, white people want to be black? White people envy the body structure, the skin, the nose, the eyes, the butts. Yes, well, I would take my white life and I would go and I would be a black person. He kind of went way in left field, but I said, okay, it's the taking of the culture on a subliminal level. I'm sure they don't want to be black in the sense of actually being black. But if I can take those aspects that I like and incorporate into what I like and what I want to be, then this works for me. They had no need for any other blacks that were not under control, hence corporate America. See how I'm swinging that? You can be a successful black person in America as long as you stay in your place, act this certain way, white, and we will embrace you as part of the family. The movie was deep. And you found yourself sitting there saying, wow. And you find yourself looking at all these different aspects. And you say, this guy here, Jordan Peele, really outdone himself. If you want to hear his personal interview, this was on NPR.org, a show that they do, and it's a 45-minute audio show. Or, and I didn't bring this other page up, there's a page called Black and Sexy TV. I've been subscribing to Black and Sexy for like 8 years now. It's $7 a month. They have excellent context. We should support black businesses and give them a bang. He was actually did a video interview with them, and I believe that's available. And before we leave, there's one other point that I didn't want to miss. And it was Samuel L. Jackson kind of came out and said some stuff about why so many of these British black actors are getting roles over American black actors. And Daniel Kaluuya, who plays the main character, Chris Washington, you know, I guess he took a little bit of offense, but I understood where Samuel L. Jackson is coming from. With all these black actors in America looking for work, why did you need to go and get that type of actor? Because his experience is different from our experience. The British slavery experience and the American slavery experience is two different things. How would it have been for an actual black person that was brought up in America, in the American culture? How would he have played that role? Or would that have been too much for the movie? With the American black brought a whole different experience than the British black. It was just another angle that we had to look at and had to say, interesting, very interesting. But you saw it with Salma, and they used that the England actor. What's your guy? Idris Elba is also from across the pond, as they say. And you got a lot of black actors that are looking for roles, but is there something in Hollywood that says these guys are a little easier to work with? They're willing to do a little more without trying to put input into how an African American man would behave in these situations. They just read the script and go along with it. Very interesting. Like I say, this movie did exactly what it's supposed to do. It was supposed to spark some controversy. It was supposed to start conversations. And it was supposed to make you think. And that's all I ever want out of a movie. Love, peace. So, we out of here.